this video is for you. I wanted to share this because anxiety is probably the number one issue that I get to help my clients with to help them solve it. Not just give them coping skills, not just give them breathing methods or tell them to meditate here and there, because those things are a distraction at best. I want to share with you what I found, what anxiety, I'm talking about chronic anxiety, by the way. I'm not talking about the normal, typical anxiety that shows up a little bit here and there when you're about to do some public speaking or maybe you're supposed to meet somebody new. That little bit of butterflies in the stomach, very normal, healthy, actually good, right? I'm talking about the kind of crippling chronic anxiety that not just runs your life, but ruins your life. Because it's this idea of when is the other shoe going to drop all the time. Like a person who has chronic anxiety literally spends their entire life hypervigilant, constantly waiting what else is going to happen. What if this, ruminating, worst case scenario, what if this happens? What if that happens? What if that doesn't work out? And that is literally what keeps somebody stuck in survival mode, which they have been for a long time. And I also know, my guess is that you probably have already done so many things to try to fix this, only to find out that it didn't work. Guess what? It has nothing to do, no, you're not broken. You're not too far gone. You're not weak. This is not a personality flaw. This has nothing to do with your character. And I know there are some people that are trying to convince you that this is all about your genetics and your brain chemistry, and that could be neither here nor there. Might be true. My interest, okay, what I am committed to is showing people that they do not have to live with this anxiety for the rest of their life. Okay? So many people are being told, oh, this is the reason, and these are the symptoms, and here's the diagnosis, and here's the analysis, and we're going to pathologize, and I can't even say the word, and therapize that person, only to find out that, yeah, maybe they get a little bit of temporary relief, and they might feel better for 5 minutes here or there. But at the end of the day, the anxiety is still sky high. So many people in this day and age have social anxiety, comes with lots of fears and phobias, afraid to put themselves out there, afraid to be seen, afraid to get into that negotiation, afraid to get on that call, afraid to do some public service of some sort. That's not a way to live. So, in a nutshell, I want to explain to you that anxiety, for the most part, I don't want to mind read and assume something, but I've done my data, my research, I've done plenty of work with this. For the most part, anxiety is childhood programming running your adult life. And until and unless, not only do you become consciously aware that this is what's happening, but until and unless you change the programming, this pattern and program is going to continue running your life. And that's what nobody tells you. You know, they have, again, very cute advice. I mean, it's just like so cringe when people are told, oh, you have to do positive thinking. You got to be optimistic. It's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. Okay doesn't just fall from the sky and things just magically align. No, you're going to fix it and you're going to make it okay. And then it's going to be okay. And that takes a different level of you. Does that make sense? And you cannot fix it while you're in a state of hypervigilant, waiting for the other shoe to drop, ruminating at 3 o'clock in the morning, not being able to sleep, living in a body that is tense, riddled with stress. Guess what? There is a reason for that. The body keeps the score. If you've ever heard about this book title, the book title is brilliant. And I want to explain what that means. I don't recommend reading the book, by the way. Even though it's a bestseller, I have many reasons on why that book, no. Don't bother, don't waste your time, okay? Because it gives you the same cockamamie advice that everybody else does. Oh, let's talk about the problem. Here's some coping skills. Why don't you tap it out? What? Again, it sounds so scientific, except it doesn't work in the long run. My clients are looking for long term strategies that work under stress, under pressure when the stakes are high. I work with high performers who need help now. They need it fast. They need something that works dependably, like all the time. So imagine me telling a CEO who has chronic social anxiety, who is afraid to speak up in a boardroom. Yes, believe it or not, that's a real thing. They will somehow push through. Imagine if I told that CEO, yeah, you know what, before that speech, you got to go to the bathroom and do a round of breathing techniques. And here's how you do it. And make sure you take 10 minutes. They would ask me if I'm okay, if I hit my head or something. And quite frankly, that's a reasonable request because I would never tell somebody to just do breathing techniques. The body keeps the score. And if you have a body that is filled with anxiety and fear and tension and stress and pressure, then I promise and guarantee you that you have not yet had the opportunity to process past experiences, past trauma, past memories. They're still living in your body. Your body is super intelligent. It will never lie to you. It will only give you symptoms of dis-ease, discomfort, and illness because it wants to communicate with you. And again, anxiety, really, the emotion of anxiety is fear. And so many people are stuck in a fear state. And then I'll hear them say, um, I feel stuck. I feel blocked. Well, you should feel stuck and blocked because there is something inside of you that is blocking you. And the other thing is that it's very difficult for somebody like this to get out of their comfort zone because they're so afraid of what if this and fear of rejection, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of what my people say. They will spend hours comparing themselves to other people. Oh, it's not perfect yet. When it's perfect, I'll put it out there. And that day will never come. People with high anxiety often are those high achievers, perfectionists, people pleasers. They compare it, like I said, compare themselves, live in this hyper vigilant state, stressed out to the max. And then, of course, another convenient suggestion, here's a pill for that. As if a capsule a day keeps the anxiety away. Really? Because my clients tell me otherwise. Yeah, it might give them temporary relief, but it also comes with a lot of dark, negative, dangerous side effects. And I don't think a capsule is necessarily the all and all answer. Does that make sense? So, when it comes to anxiety, the way I approach it here is hypnotherapy, but not just any kind of hypnotherapy. I've developed my own process, Susan Urban Hypnotherapy. What we do is we want to help you identify what is the root cause of this anxiety. What is the real cause that shaped your personality, that shaped your habits, that shaped your behaviors, that shaped your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, and your relationship with life, the world, and yourself? We want to identify what happens to you because there is cause and effect, right? And once you find the story, the pattern, first of all, you will have a much better understanding of it. Then we want to help you gain a new perspective about the past because so many look, let me just leave this here. If you think the purpose of your trauma, and let's just assume there was trauma, whether you're consciously aware of it or not, if you believe the purpose of your trauma was so that you can continue moping around for the rest of your life and feeling sorry for yourself and feeling inferior and feeling small, you have missed the assignment. I promise you, that is not the purpose of your trauma. There is so much more. You're so much bigger than your trauma. Your potential is, I have no words to explain. There was a purpose behind it. And it's your job and your duty, if you ask me, to understand what was the whole point here. And when you can see it from a much higher perspective, number one, you'll recognize you have the resources inside of you that can support you on this healing journey. But more importantly, the sort of what goes hand in hand, as you heal, you then also become peak performance psychology. You then also develop unshakable self confidence. You then also develop elite execution, where nothing and nobody can stand in your way. You become unapologetic. You become undiplomatic. You become maybe inconvenient for other people, but you will finally start to go after the thing that's so important to you. You will finally have the ability to unapologetically ask yourself, what do I want in this life? What would be a life worthwhile? Like, what must be in my life for me to be happy and satisfied? You will finally have the ability to go inside instead of asking everybody else's opinion, what all these other people think of you and don't think of you, instead of constantly seeking permission from the outside, wondering and worrying whether you're ready, instead of sitting here and wishing and hoping and praying, I just wish my life were better. It's not going to get better unless you make it better. The only person who can literally make your life better in the long term, nobody's coming to save you. You are the only person to make that happen. And when you find those resources inside of you, when you find that strength, that tenacity, that courage, and all those other little ingredients that are required, that's when you will start to rise to the next level. That's when you will become the envy of other people. That's when you'll just be like, everybody just, I'm going to handle it. Get out of my way. The emergency button that everybody's looking for, you're going to be like, I'm the emergency button. What are you talking about? You will literally finally step into the version of you that you know secretly and silently who you are. You know that because your soul keeps telling you. But there's two ways this can go. Either people stay stuck in victim mentality, victim mindset. And by the way, if that's where you stay stuck, to be honest with you, you're entitled to that. Like, you're absolutely right. I mean, anybody can be victim mindset. And anybody, I would be like, yeah, you're right. You are a victim. But so the point isn't to judge or criticize people here. The point is, if that's where you stay stuck, your life isn't going to change much. You're going to stay stuck in the same misery. You're going to stay stuck in the same patterns. You're going to stay stuck in the same toxic relationships. You're going to stay stuck in the same limitations. The winner mindset is the person who comes to me, they raise their hand and say, Susan, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. I finally developed enough hunger that I want to get out of this. I want winning mentality, winner mindset. And that takes radical accountability and responsibility. That takes, what else can I do, Susan? I did that. Okay, what else can I do? How high do you want me to jump? That will literally move you out of your comfort zone and into, which by the way is not comfortable. It's just familiar. It's just something that you've been used to for so long. So now it feels normal to you. Nothing good's going to grow there though. Everybody else is going to dance and prance along and keep passing you while you're still wallowing in the comfort zone. I don't recommend it. It's really, really cringe and uncomfortable there because that leads to a lifetime of regret and shame and blame and guilt and resentment and remorse and worse, judgment and criticism from others, or an audience that will give you sympathy and they will kumbaya with you and commiserate with you because misery loves company. And then we make other people feel so good because they don't have these high expectations of themselves either. So now again, we're back to people pleasing. That is a guaranteed way to keep somebody small. And I promise you, you were not born to get here to stay small. I played that game for way too long. And I'm every day I like try to forgive myself. Like I'm like, it took me, I was 45 years old when I gained these skills, when I was finally willing to take responsibility for myself, for my life, and say, you know what? Nobody's going to save me. I had wonderful, beautiful, supportive people in my life, but I realized because I didn't make a choice, because I went along with everything, I was too afraid to make decisions. The choice was made for me. So therefore, I couldn't complain because what did I do today besides just agree with everything and go along? Saying no, drawing a line in the sand, getting your head out of it, that takes courage. That takes commitment. That takes, hey, what is it that I want? What would make my life worth living? Would it be worth it? What are the skills that I need to gain? What can I do? Not what can't. Let's not focus on the things you can't control. You can't change the past. You can't change your genetics. You can't change your height. Okay, let's not be unreasonable, although there's an intelligent way to be unreasonable. The intelligent way to be unreasonable is expect unreasonable things of yourself. Expect more of yourself. Be not comfortable, not what other people think is convenient. Because I promise you, the minute you raise your hand, the minute you put yourself out there, the minute you succeed, the minute you win, that's when you're going to have people swooping in and telling you, oh, slow down. Come on, it's okay. You got to relax. Come on, look for work life balance. Yep, that's your test. And by the way, either path is hard. Choose your heart. Either path. You want to be broke, it's going to be hard. You want to be wealthy, it's going to be hard. You want to be fat, it's going to be hard. You want to be fit, it's going to be hard. And I'm using that word because that was me. And if you do not know the hard, anyhow, I don't want to get, you want to be lonely, it's going to be hard. You want to be in a relationship, good luck, it's going to be hard too. Choose your heart. What are your standards? What are your core values? What would you like to experience in your life that would make life worth living? And you can also choose to pursue designer bags, designer shoes, designer, or designer brain, designer body. And I'm not talking about Botox and Ozempic. I'm talking about sharpening yourself, training yourself, conditioning yourself, reprogramming yourself to become the best version of you. And no, that's not convenient. It's not cute. It's not happy go lucky. It's not feel the fear, do it anyway. It's not, I believe in you. It's not, oh, it's going to be okay. No, it's not going to be okay. You're going to make it okay. That's how it's going to be okay. And unless you're willing to make it okay and take the steps that are required, which again, I'm here to warn you and promise you, it's not pleasant. It's not comfortable. It's not convenient, but it's worth it. And I can only work with people who are hungry, who are tenacious, who are salivating, who are just so sick and tired. They're hurting so bad watching everybody else succeed, watching it like they're just like, I'm sick and like I'm just sick of it. I can only work with the person who is no longer willing to settle for less. If you have had that come to Jesus conversation with yourself where you're like, you know what? No, no more settling, no more playing small, no more people pleasing, no more just going along with everybody to make it comfortable for them. How about no more of that and more of you? And I get it. You may not be used to this yet, and you might even call it selfish. Isn't that interesting? Because that's the society we live in. Society is going to try to tell you how selfish of you, how self absorbed. Really? Putting the oxygen mask on myself first is self absorbed and selfish. Knowing when I'm thirsty or hungry is selfish. Should I leave that up to other people to mind read? And maybe one day they might just guess that I need some oxygen? Or do you think that's a duty? Because again, nobody's going to come save you. Again, you might have some really nice people in your life, but what if those people go bye bye? Who are you going to count on then? And I understand anxiety does a number on your mind, on your mentality, on your psychology. I get it. It will do a number on you. You now have a choice. You want to let it continue doing a number on you, or do you want to be in control of it and put it in its place? And if that's what you want, we can make that happen. But this is not about therapizing, pathologizing, analyzing, diagnosing, crying, talking about the problem over and over. It's not what this is about. This is about finding a solution. What is the quickest way to help you get to the other side so that you can celebrate that breakthrough? You can finally get to see who you really are, what you're really made of. Because again, the resources are inside of you, the answers are inside of you, the potential is inside of you. But right now, my guess is this whole childhood programming is probably teasing and taunting you, trying to convince you that you can't do it, it's going to be too hard, and all and on and on and on. Yeah. So, thanks for spending some time with me today. I'm going to say bye-bye. Yes, I do offer a free consultation. There is a link in my bio, and we can have a conversation and take it from there. I'll see you next time.